Hey everyone, Kavemi here with another Reddit story. Today's is one of the most intense cultural and moral conflicts I've ever encountered. It follows a woman deeply in love with her Russian boyfriend, whose family disappears every year. When she finally demands to know the reason, the secret she uncovers is far darker and more complicated than she could have ever imagined, forcing her to confront a devastating moral choice about love and justice. Settle in, enjoy the Minecraft in the background, and let's get into it. The title is My Russian Fiancé's Family Secret. Made me question everything, but I had to choose between love and justice. My name is Hannah, and I've been with Ivan for 2 years now. 2 years of lengthy evening conversations, of him patiently teaching me Slavic phrases I butchered constantly, of his mother's incredible blini that she'd bring over in enormous containers. 2 years of what I genuinely believed was the most honest, open relationship I'd ever experienced. The first incident occurred, and I didn't give it much thought. It was late November, about 3 months into our relationship. Ivan texted me saying he had a sudden family emergency and would be unreachable for a few days. His phone went straight to voicemail. His parents' house sat dark and empty. His younger sister Alina's social media feed went completely silent. Even his cousin Sergei, who posted gym selfies like it was his full-time job, disappeared. 3 days later, they all returned as if nothing unusual had happened. When I pressed Ivan for details, he got this particular look on his face. Not hostile, not defensive, just utterly closed off, like a door slamming shut behind his eyes. Family obligation, he stated. Very private, very Russian. You understand? Except I didn't understand. But I was in love, and love sometimes makes you intellectually lazy. The following year, I was prepared for it. Same time, late November 25th to be precise, occurring with clockwork precision. This time, I pushed harder. We were serious now. We'd moved in together. I'd met distant relatives. His mother called me my daughter and taught me how to make authentic shchi. I felt I had earned the right to know, hadn't I? It's tradition, Hannah, Ivan insisted, packing a duffel bag in our bedroom. Family tradition from the old country. Some things are sacred, Jessica. Some things are just for family. That remark stung. After a year of living together, I still wasn't considered family. I watched him pack 3 days' worth of clothes, his heavy winter coat, and a framed photograph I'd never seen before. It looked exactly like him, but younger, standing with someone who could have been his twin. Who is that? I asked. His hand froze on the frame. My brother Nikolai. You never mentioned a brother. He's gone a long time ago. He zipped the bag shut before I could ask anything further. That night, I did what any rational, totally not crazy girlfriend would do. I drove to his parents' house. The lights were off. Both cars were gone. I waited in my car down the street for hours, feeling ridiculous, invasive, and desperate all at once. They never came home. For 3 days I existed in a strange state of limbo. Ivan's phone went straight to voicemail, as if deactivated. I texted Alina, attempting to sound casual. Nothing. I even messaged Sergei asking for fitness advice. Read receipt, but no reply. It was as if they'd been erased from existence. Day 4, Ivan returned home. He looked shattered. His eyes were red, not like he'd been weeping, but like he hadn't slept in days. He dropped his bag, instantly pulled me into an embrace, and held on for a very long time. I missed you, he murmured into my hair, and because I loved him, because he looked so broken and depleted, I didn't press for answers. But this year was fundamentally different. We were discussing marriage. He'd been hinting at it for months, meeting with a jeweler, asking subtle questions about my preferences. His mother had started talking about Russian wedding rituals, whether we'd do a traditional ceremony or a Western one. So when November rolled around again, when November 25th approached like a thundercloud on the horizon, I made my position crystal clear. If we're getting married, I need to know, I stated. We were in the kitchen. He was brewing tea, that incredibly strong black Russian tea he drank constantly. His back was to me, but I saw his shoulders visibly tense. Ivan, I mean it. I love you. I want to be your wife. But I can't marry into a family that disappears into thin air once a year and won't tell me why. The silence stretched out. The kettle whistled shrilly. He poured water into 2 mugs, the steam rising between us like a physical wall. "It will change things," he finally said. "Once you know, you cannot unknow. You understand?" My heart started pounding. "I understand." He turned around. His normally blue eyes looked almost grey in the kitchen light. "Okay, this year you come with us." I should have felt triumphant. I should have felt relieved. Instead, a cold dread settled in my stomach. The next week dragged by. Ivan was different, distracted. He'd stare blankly into space for long stretches. I'd catch him looking at me with an expression I couldn't decipher. Sad, perhaps, or regretful. His mother visited for dinner and barely spoke to me. She, who usually chatted incessantly about everything, who treated me like her own child, suddenly became formal and distant. When she left, she kissed my forehead and said something in Russian that made Ivan snap at her. "What did she say?" I asked after she left. "She said she will pray for you." "That's nice." "No." He looked at me seriously. "She means she will pray for you because of what you will see." I laughed, nervously. "You guys are really building this up. Is this some weird Russian cult thing? Are you going to sacrifice me in the woods?" He didn't laugh. November 25th arrived, cold and grey. I packed my bag with hands that shook slightly. Ivan was silent as we loaded the car. His parents pulled up in their old Volga sedan. Alina was in the back seat. Sergei arrived on his Harley Davidson. One by one, the family assembled. No one spoke much. We formed a convoy. 3 cars heading north out of Denver into Wyoming, then further north into the Bighorn Mountains. The landscape became desolate. Trees pressed in from both sides of the highway. Small towns appeared and vanished like fleeting thoughts. I tried calling my best friend Mia before we got too far out, just to check in. Ivan's hand covered mine, gently pulling the phone down. No contact with outside for 3 days. Part of the rules. Rules. You will understand soon. We drove for 7 hours. My back ached. The sun set, painting the sky orange and purple through the trees. We were so far north now that I'd lost cell signal an hour ago. Finally, we turned off the highway onto a dirt track. Then from that dirt track to a smaller one, then onto what was barely a path, just 2 tyre tracks through dense forest. We stopped at a gate, a serious gate, 8 feet tall, topped with barbed wire, security cameras, a keypad. Ivan's father got out and entered a code. The gate swung open with a mechanical groan. "Ivan," I said slowly. "What is this place?" "Private facility," he said. "Very expensive. Very secret." We drove through. The gate closed behind us with a clang that felt chillingly final. The road opened into a clearing. In the centre sat a large building. Not quite a hospital, not quite a house. Something in between. Grey concrete, small windows, more security cameras. Lights glowed from inside, warm against the cold November darkness. A woman came out to meet us. Older white hair pulled into a tight bun, wearing medical scrubs. She greeted Ivan's father in Russian, hugged his mother, then looked at me. "This is Hannah," Ivan said in English. "My fiancée. She is here to meet Nikolai." My mind went blank. Nikolai. Your brother. Nikolai. "You said he died." "No," Ivan said quietly. "I said he was gone a long time ago. I never said died." The woman, whose name was Irina, led us inside. The place was nicer than I expected. Clean, warm. It smelled like pine and something medicinal. We walked down a hallway with several closed doors. "We are only facility," Irina explained in accented English. "Only patient is Nikolai. Family pays for everything. Private care, private staff, private security. No records, no paper trail. No one knows he is here." "Why?" My voice came out as a whisper. No one answered. We stopped at a door at the end of the hall. Ivan's mother was crying silently, tears streaming down her face. His father looked like he'd aged 10 years in the short walk from the car. Alina wouldn't look at me. "He will not know you," Irina said gently. "He knows family, but not always. Some days are better than others." She opened the door. The room was large and comfortable. A bed, a desk, a television playing some Russian program on mute. Bookshelves lined one wall. Photos covered another. Family photos, old and new. A window looked out onto the dark forest. In a wheelchair by the window sat a man who looked exactly like Ivan. Same height, same build, same bone structure. But his eyes were different. Vacant. He stared out the window, rocking slightly, humming tunelessly. "Nikolai," Ivan's mother said softly, approaching him. She knelt beside the wheelchair, took his hand. "My son, my beautiful boy, we are here." Nikolai turned his head. For a moment his eyes focused on her face. Something like recognition flickered there. "Mama," he said. His voice was rough, unused. She sobbed. His father came over, put his hand on Nikolai's shoulder. Alina sat on the bed, crying quietly. Ivan stood beside me, ramrod straight. "He is why we come," he said. "He is why we disappear. 3 days every year we come to be with him." "What happened to him?" I asked later. "First we visit." The next hours were surreal. The family spoke to Nikolai as if he were fully present. They showed him photos on their phones, told him about their lives, asked him questions he mostly didn't answer. Sometimes he'd smile. Sometimes he'd say a word or two. Mostly he rocked and hummed and stared. They were so gentle with him, so patient. Ivan's father fed him dinner carefully, wiping his mouth between bites. His mother brushed his hair, singing a Russian lullaby. Alina read to him from a book in Russian. Ivan just sat beside him, holding his hand. I felt like an intruder. This was a sacred space. Intimate grief. I didn't belong here. Eventually, Irina came to give Nikolai his evening medications. The family said goodnight. Ivan kissed his brother's forehead, said something in Russian that made Nikolai's eyes focus briefly. "He looks like you," Nikolai said clearly. "My brother looks like me." "Da," Ivan said. "We are same, but I am broken one." "No, Nikolai. You are loved one." We left him there in his room, Irina staying to help him to bed. The family walked back to the main area in silence. This part of the facility had a kitchen, bedrooms for visitors, a living space. We'd be staying here for 3 days. Once we were settled, sitting around a large wooden table, Ivan's father finally spoke. "You want to know story?" he said to me. It wasn't a question. I nodded. He sighed, pulled out a cigarette, lit it despite Irina's no-smoking rules. His wife didn't stop him. "Nikolai's older twin," he began. 7 minutes older than Ivan. They were born in Moscow, 1989. Year of change. Year of chaos, Soviet Union falling apart, everything changing. He paused, drawing on the cigarette. "I worked for government then, not politician, not important man. But I did work that needed to be secret. You understand?" I nodded, not really understanding. After Soviet Union fell, many secrets came out. Many people who did secret work became targets. Men I worked with. Some disappeared, some had accidents. Some went to prison on made-up charges. Russia was finding scapegoats, finding people to blame for old sins. His wife put her hand over his. "We had to leave," she said. "Come to America. Start over." Ivan and Nikolai were 12 years old. Smart boys, good boys. They learned English fast, made American friends. They became American. But Nikolai, he was always more sensitive. Ivan's father continued. More thoughtful. He asked questions about Russia, about why we left, about what I did there. Alina spoke up. "I was just a little girl, but I remember Nikolai always trying to protect us. Always worried about keeping secrets. Always scared someone would find out." "Find out what?" I asked. The silence was heavy. Ivan's father stubbed out his cigarette. "I was involved in things I'm not proud of. Intelligence work during Cold War. Then during transition, I provided information to Americans, to British, to anyone who paid. He searched for the word, double agent, triple agent. I sold secrets to everyone." His wife made a small sound. "People died because of information I sold," he said flatly. "Not directly by my hand, but my information led to deaths, led to arrests, led to families being destroyed. And when everything collapsed, I took money and ran to America with fake papers and new identities." My mouth went dry. "Nikolai found out," Ivan said. "When we were 23, he was helping Papa with taxes, found old documents hidden in safe, documents with real names, real history. He read everything, understood everything. He fell apart," Alina said. Stopped eating, stopped sleeping. He kept saying we were living a lie, that we were complicit in murders, that everything we had was built on blood money. Ivan's mother was crying again. We tried to get him help, therapy, medication, but he was drowning in guilt that was not his to carry. He tried to turn himself in, Ivan's father said. Went to FBI office, told them everything. But they already knew. They already knew about me, about what I did. They had made deal long ago. I gave them information about Russian intelligence in America. They gave me immunity and protection. Nikolai's confession meant nothing. That's what broke him completely, Ivan said quietly. Learning that American government knew, that they were protecting Papa, that justice didn't exist, not for people like us. I felt sick. What happened then? He went to roof of our apartment building, Alina whispered. We didn't know, didn't realise how bad it was. He went up there and he... She couldn't finish. He jumped, Ivan said. 6 stories. Should have died. Doctors said it was a miracle he lived. But maybe it was curse instead. Traumatic brain injury, his mother said. So severe. He woke up after 3 months in coma. But he was different. My Nikolai was gone. This person who looked like him remained, but inside, broken. We couldn't keep him in regular facility. Ivan's father explained. Too many questions, too many records. If wrong people found out he existed, found out what he knew, it would be danger for him, for us, for people back in Russia who I betrayed. So we built this. Ivan gestured around. Found this land, built this place. Hired arena and small staff who we pay very well to keep secrets. We told everyone Nikolai died, had funeral, closed casket, became ghost. Every year on anniversary of his jump, we come here, his mother said. November 25th. We spend 3 days with him. It is our penance, our remembrance, our way of keeping him alive when world thinks he is dead. The room fell silent except for the hum of the refrigerator. I didn't know what to say. What do you say to something like this? Why bring me now? I finally asked. Ivan looked at me. Because I want to marry you, but I could not marry you with this secret between us. You needed to know who I am, where I come from, what my family has done, what we are still doing. You're hiding him because of your father's past. We are protecting him, Ivan's father said firmly, from people who would use him, hurt him. He knows too much, even in his broken state. Some memories remain, some names, some places. Wrong person gets access to him, asks right questions. Many people could be hurt. So you've kept him locked up here for 12 years. 12 years in this facility, safe, cared for, but prisoner. I stood up. I needed air. I walked to the window, looked out at the dark forest. Behind me, the family sat in their shared grief and guilt. Does he know? I asked. Does Nikolai know why he's here? Does he understand? Sometimes, Alina said. On good days, he asks to go home. We tell him soon. We tell him when it is safe. But it will never be safe, I said. No one answered, because we all knew the truth. That night, I barely slept. I was in a guest room, Ivan beside me. He held me like he was afraid I'd disappear. Are you angry? He whispered in the dark. I don't know what I am, I said. Honestly, it's too much. I understand if you want to leave, if you want to leave me. Did I? I loved him. I loved his family, but your father sold secrets that got people killed, I said. And now your brother is paying the price. Yes, that's not fair. No, nothing about this is fair. We lay in silence. Do you ever think about turning him in? I asked. Your father? Every day, Ivan said. But he is my father, and he is old now. Sick. What would it accomplish? Nikolai would still be broken. Dead people would still be dead. There is no justice here. Only survival. The next day felt surreal. We fell into a routine, breakfast together. Then hours spent with Nikolai. The family rotated. Someone always with him, talking, reading, playing music. They treated it like a normal visit, like he was in a regular hospital, recovering from something temporary. But nothing about this was temporary. I spent time with Nikolai too, sat beside him, tried to talk to him. Sometimes he'd look at me with clear eyes. You are new, he said once. Yes, I'm Hannah, Ivan's girlfriend. Ivan, he smiled. My brother. We were same before, I know. But I broke. He tapped his head. Broke in here now. We are different. Do you remember what happened? His eyes went distant. I remember falling, flying for a moment. I flew like I was free from everything. From knowing. From guilt. I was just flying. Tears ran down his face. Then I woke up and I was still in cage. Different cage, but still cage. I held his hand. What else could I do? On the second night, after Nikolai was asleep, the family gathered again. Ivan's father was drinking vodka. Not a lot, just enough to soften the edges. You think I am monster? He said to me. I don't know what to think. Good, you should not know. World is not simple. During Cold War, everyone was spy for someone. Everyone was betrayer. Everyone was traitor. I played game to survive, to keep family alive, to give my children future. And look at cost, his wife said bitterly. One son broken, other son living lie. Daughter who cannot have normal relationship because she is always hiding. This is future you gave us. He flinched. I know, do you? She was angry now, years of suppressed rage boiling up. Do you know what it is like to visit ghost of your son every year? To see him trapped in body that does not work, brain that does not work. To know he did this because he could not live with your choices. Enough, Ivan said. No, she snapped. Not enough. Never enough. We pretend everything is fine. We come here 3 days per year and pretend we are good family visiting sick son. But we are cowards. All of us cowards who let Nikolai take punishment for sins that were not his. She stood up, shaking. Alina tried to grab her arm, but she pulled away. She stormed out of the room. Ivan's father sat there looking old and broken. She is right, he said. We are cowards. He poured another vodka, drank it in one swallow, stood up, and walked out the opposite door. Just like that, the family fractured. Alina looked at me. Now you see, this is why we disappear. This is why we come here every year. Same thing. We fall apart. We blame. We cry. We rage. Then we put pieces back together and go home and pretend for another year. This is what you wanted to marry into, Ivan said to me. Not accusing, just stating a fact. That night, I found Ivan's mother outside smoking a cigarette, even though she'd quit years ago. I'm sorry you saw this, she said. I sat beside her on the cold bench. I asked to know. Knowing is heavy burden. She drew on the cigarette. I love my husband. Still love him. Even now, but I hate him too. He gave us everything and took everything away, both at the same time. Why do you stay? Where would I go? And who would I be without him? We have been together since we were young, since before everything went wrong. He is not just a man who did terrible things, he is also a man who held my hand during childbirth, who read stories to our sons, who taught Alina to ride bicycle. People are not simple. Nikolai couldn't accept that. No, Nikolai saw only black and white, right and wrong. He inherited his father's intensity, but not his flexibility. He broke against hardness of truth. She stubbed out the cigarette. You want my advice? Run. Run far from this family. Find normal man with normal problems. Have normal life. But you didn't run. I am Russian. We do not run from suffering. We embrace it. It makes us who we are. She looked at me. But you are American. You still believe in happiness, in fresh starts, in clean slates. Do not let us infect you with our darkness. The third day was quieter. Everyone was tired. Tired of emotions, tired of truth. Tired of each other. We spent the day with Nikolai, all of us together. We watched old Russian films, ate food his mother had cooked, played music for a few hours. We pretended to be a normal family having a normal visit. Nikolai was having a good day. He was more present, more responsive. He laughed at jokes. He asked questions. For moments I could see who he used to be before everything broke. Hannah, he said in the afternoon. You seem kind, thank you. My brother found someone kind. That is good. He deserves kind. So do you. He shook his head. I deserve this. I deserve to be here. Away from world. I know too much. I am dangerous. You're not dangerous. You're hurt. Sometimes. Same thing. As the sun set on the third day, the family said their goodbyes. His mother cried. His father stood stoically. Alina kissed his cheek. Ivan held his twin brother for a long time. Next year, Ivan promised. We will come back next year. I know, Nikolai said. You always come back. It is the only thing I trust. We packed up, loaded the cars. Irina walked us out. He will be okay, Ivan's mother asked. He is always okay, Irina said gently. We take good care. As we drove away, I watched the facility disappear behind us. The gate closed, the forest swallowed it. Within minutes, it was like it never existed. The drive back was silent. Everyone lost in their own thoughts. Ivan held my hand the entire way. Sometimes he'd squeeze it gently, like he was checking I was still there for... When we finally got back to Denver, back to our apartment, back to normal life, I felt like I'd been gone for months instead of 3 days. Ivan made tea. We sat at our kitchen table, the same table where a week ago I demanded to know the truth. Well, he said, now you know. Now I know. And I looked at this man I loved, this man who carried his brother's ghost, who disappeared 3 days every year to visit a living tomb, who was built from lies and secrets and blood money, but who had been nothing but honest and gentle with me. I need time, I said, to process, to think. He nodded. I understand. But Ivan, your father, what he did, the people who died because of him, doesn't that matter? Of course it matters. It matters every day. But what would you have me do? Turn in my own father? Send him to prison? It would not bring back dead, would not heal Nikolai, would only destroy what is left of family. So you do nothing. We do penance. Every year, 3 days, we face what we have done, what has been done to us. We do not run from it. We do not forget. Is that nothing? I didn't have an answer. The days that followed were strange. I went to work, came home, cooked dinner, watched television. Everything normal on the surface, but underneath, everything had changed. I couldn't stop thinking about Nikolai trapped in that facility, his mind broken by truths he couldn't reconcile. I couldn't stop thinking about Ivan's father, living with guilt, living with privilege bought by betrayal. I couldn't stop thinking about the family, how they'd built entire lives around one tragedy, one secret. Mia called. We met for coffee. I couldn't tell her anything. How do you explain this? You seem different, she said. Did something happen with Ivan's family? Just got to know them better. And families are complicated, she laughed. That's the understatement of the century. If only she knew. 2 weeks passed. Ivan didn't push, didn't ask, just waited. Finally, one night, I sat him down. I need to know something, I said. When you started dating me, when you asked me to be your girlfriend, did you have an agenda? He looked confused. What do you mean? Your father said he needed to look legitimate. American girlfriend, American wife. Does that help somehow with his cover? With whatever he's hiding from? Understanding dawned on his face, then hurt. You think I dated you as part of family scheme? I'm asking. He stood up, paced. Hannah, I met you at coffee shop. You spilled latte on my laptop. You were mortified. I thought you were beautiful. That is how we started. Not secret plot, not family agenda. Just me seeing you and wanting to know you. But later, after we got serious, did your family see advantage? He stopped pacing, looked at me directly. My father mentioned yes, that having American wife would be good, would make me look more established, more legitimate, would help with citizenship. But that was after I already loved you. That was not why I proposed. Are you sure? Am I sure why I love you? He looked almost angry now. You think I'm like my father, playing games, using people? I think you're your father's son. I think you learned from him. That landed hard. He sat back down, put his head in his hands. Maybe you are right, he said quietly. Maybe I'm more like him than I want to admit. Maybe I'm capable of same things, using people, lying, surviving at any cost. That's not what I want to hear. But maybe it is truth. He looked up. I spent my whole life trying to be different from him, trying to be good, honest, clean. But then I remember I hid my brother's existence. I let my father get away with murder, essentially. I disappear 3 days per year to maintain elaborate lie. What does that make me? Human, I said. It makes you human or coward. Like my mother said. We sat in silence. I can't marry you, I said finally. Not yet. Not until I understand what I'm signing up for. He nodded. I understand, but I don't want to break up either. I need time. How much time? I don't know. More weeks passed. We existed in limbo, together but not engaged, loving but not trusting. He was patient. I was confused. I started researching, looking into his father's past. It wasn't easy. The man had covered his tracks well. But fragments existed. Reddit threads about Soviet double agents, declassified documents, anonymous posts from people claiming to know secrets. I found reference to a man matching his father's description. Codename Raven, suspected of providing intelligence to multiple agencies, connected to several deaths of Russian intelligence officers in the 90s, vanished in 1998, presumed dead or in hiding. I found more, a news article from a Russian website, poorly translated, about families destroyed by betrayal during the collapse. Names redacted, but descriptions that fit. I found myself going down rabbit holes, reading about the consequences of espionage, about the moral complexity of the Cold War, about people who did terrible things for what they thought were right reasons. And slowly, without meaning to, I started to understand. Not to forgive, not to excuse, but to understand. The world Ivan's father had existed in was not my world. It was darker, more desperate. Survival was not guaranteed. Choices were impossible. There were no good options, only less bad ones. And Nikolai, sweet Nikolai, who couldn't reconcile at all, who saw his father's sins and made them his own, who couldn't live in grey when he needed black and white. One night I found myself crying for Nikolai, for the boy who wanted justice, who wanted truth, who wanted to fix what was broken, but only succeeded in breaking himself. Ivan found me on the couch, tears streaming down my face. "What's wrong?" he asked, alarmed. "I'm crying for your brother, for the life he should have had." He sat beside me, held me close, started crying too. "I cry for him too," he said. "All the time. Every day I think about him, about how we used to be identical, how people could not tell us apart. Now I am here living, and he is there half alive, trapped. Do you ever wish it was you," I asked, "that you were the one who jumped, that he got to live this life?" "Every day," he whispered. "Every single day." We held each other and cried, for Nikolai, for the family, for the impossible situation everyone was trapped in. December came. The holidays approached. Ivan's mother invited us for Christmas. "I don't know," I said to Ivan. "Being around your father..." "I know, but please, for my mother. She loves you. She does not have much joy. You bring her joy." So I went. The house was decorated beautifully. Russian traditions mixed with American. A tree with ornaments from both countries. Food that was elaborate and wonderful. Alina was there with her boyfriend, who clearly knew nothing about Nikolai. Ivan's father was quieter than usual. He looked older, sicker. His hands shook slightly. During dinner, he caught me looking at him. "You judge me," he said. "I see it in your eyes." The table went silent. "Papa," Ivan warned. "No, let her judge. She has right. She knows now. She knows what I am." "I don't judge you," I said, surprising myself. "I don't understand you, but I don't judge." He studied me. "You are lying, but it is kind lie. I appreciate you did what you thought you had to do. In world I cannot imagine. I don't know what I would have done in your place." "You would have done better," he said. "You are a better person than me." "I don't know that I do." He raised his glass. "To Hannah, who sees our darkness and does not run, who loves my son despite what we are. You are brave, braver than us." Everyone drank. I didn't feel brave, I felt lost. After dinner, Ivan's mother pulled me aside. "Thank you," she said, "for what you said to him. He carries much guilt. Your words helped." I didn't say much. You said enough. You gave him something he has not had in a long time. Permission to be human, to be flawed. We all need that sometimes. January came. It had been 3 months since the visit to Nikolai. 3 months of processing, of thinking, of trying to understand. Ivan never pushed, never demanded an answer about marriage. Just loved me, showed up, was present. One night I made a decision. I want to go with you next year, I said. In November to see Nikolai again. He looked surprised. You do? Yes, I think. I think I need to really understand. One visit wasn't enough. Okay, he said. Okay, we will go together. And Ivan, I'm ready to talk about marriage again. Not today, not tomorrow, but soon. I think I can do this. Be part of this family, carry these secrets. He pulled me into a hug so tight I could barely breathe. You are sure? He asked into my hair. No, I said honestly. I'm not sure, but I love you and maybe that's enough. It is enough, he said. It is more than enough. The months passed. Life continued. We set a wedding date for the following June. Small ceremony. Just family and close friends. Mia asked me once if I was happy. I think so, I said. It's complicated. But isn't everything? She laughed. Not usually this complicated, but okay as long as you're happy. Was I happy? I didn't know. But I was something. Committed, connected, part of something larger than myself. Even if that something was built on lies and blood and secrets. That wraps up today's utterly complex Reddit story. Thanks for hanging out with me while we processed Hannah's incredible moral dilemma and her decision to choose love in the face of impossible truths. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the family's annual vigil. Is that an act of penance or just a continuation of the lie? And stick around for more stories with the usual Minecraft vibes in the background. I'll see you in the next one.